After a storm, the damage is not always obvious. And if it's not documented correctly, it can cost you. With a decade of experience, we know exactly what to look for. We handle the inspection, claim support, and the roof. Storm season is coming. Make sure you have absolute restoration on your side.
Thank you for doing that. Oop, I'm about to hit
Mississippi's
you in a
trusted
second.
weather
Give me just a second.
experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Welcome in Mississippi Live Weather 5. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpond here on this Friday. Maybe a little overdressed for the temperatures that made it in the 70s this afternoon. But we are anticipating a fairly chilly night ahead. And there are some legitimately kind of colder days ahead. But our storyline this evening largely revolves around a chance for some storms. Not for tonight, not for tomorrow, but by Sunday that could potentially be strong to severe. I'd say that's our main headline this evening. But right now, actually, before we go to that, let's take our shot here with Mississippi Live drone here above the surface at the Boonville softball field. Again, it is our game of the week, located here in the Boonville area this evening. As you can see there, kind of looking back over top of the field at this point in time. Again, it is the Boonville Blue Devils taking on the folks there from East Union. And again, we'll have the full discussion on this game here in a couple minutes, but it's beautiful blue skies as far as the eye can see. Well, I say that, a few high and thin clouds, but that's the only real issues we have out there at this time. Again, the headline tonight is beautiful weather for now, but storm chances on the way as we go into this upcoming weekend. And in particular, we're focused on Sunday. As you'll note here, upgraded from where we were even at this morning, talking to our meteorologist, Megan McCauley, a level 3 out of 5 severe weather risk involving almost everybody, well, pretty much everybody that can watch us here on Mississippi Live Weather, or at least it typically does in our main coverage area here, and a large portion of the state of Mississippi involved in that as well. Wider shot here again shows that big yellow area extending all the way down Florida Panhandle. That's at level 2 out of 5 risk and way up there in the Midwest. And when you look just in particular at that highest risk level, that level 3 risk, you're talking one that extends over 700 miles. So this is a large risk area, and it's what we call a high shear, low cape scenario. And our models don't always do a great job of this, but there's been tons of research just in the last 3 or 4 years. It's something largely unique to this part of the country, and it's going to come with damaging wind potential and maybe some spin-up tornadoes, perhaps even 1 or 2 that are somewhat stronger. Again, not going to be, I think, a high-confidence scenario, but more on, again, how this plays out here in a couple of minutes. So that is really our main headline for this evening here, the fact that our severe risk has been upgraded for Sunday, and it does include all locations here across North Mississippi. Damaging winds and tornadoes, I think, are both possible. The damaging wind potential is always a little greater in my mind. This year, you're going to hear me say it over and over again. You're going to be tired of hearing me say it, but the ice storm has an impact. And in this case, the ice storm's impact means there's more branches that are dangling, trees that are weakened, and easier to push those down with lesser wind gusts. We're still going to probably see damaging wind gusts, even if we didn't have an ice storm scenario. And then, believe it or not, some flakes possible for Monday. Before you get any, ideas of an extended spring break, everyone's going to school on Monday, but it's just not impossible maybe to get some flakes by then. So looking over the course of the first 12 here, 67 at 6 p.m. this evening. We're 54 by 9. 50s look toward around midnight under where we're mostly clear skies. I mean, it's dry. It is cool. It's not cool tomorrow morning as we're in the mid-40s to begin the first part of your Saturday morning and heading into a weekend that most of the daylight period for both weekend days is probably going to be dry and mostly clear. Wide shot here shows our next storm system back up there toward the Pacific Northwest. It's going to be kind of a quick mover. The overall pattern here just kind of has this storm system sort of diving at us like that from the north and west. As it does, I think there's going to be just a good dip there, a trough of low pressure. As that rotates through, it's going to agitate things and produce that kind of widespread risk for thunderstorms across the central and eastern United States. It does extend as well into Sunday, just not as much for our area by that point in time. So as you can see here on our futurecast, showing that mostly in the dry category for tonight under mostly clear conditions as well. I think we'll see if we can make this come in just a little bit closer there to the state of Mississippi. Again, showing some of those isolated clouds, but no precipitation there. High pressure still in control. We have this weak front. It's not going to have really any major impact for us, maybe just kind of limiting a little bit of the moisture, which hopefully is a limiting factor on thunderstorm chances for Sunday as well. But you can see some clouds kind of coming up from the south there, riding there toward Jackson, working northward. And as that moisture return into Sunday and through the weekend, that is going to be the focal point. So from 44 at 6 a.m., we're 68 degrees by noon, 75 as we head toward 3 p.m. on your Saturday. A beautiful weekend largely in store. Breezier by Sunday. But obviously, late Sunday, the storm chances are the headline and severe weather a possibility. But don't miss it. Saturday is one of those, at least for me, I sometimes wake up in May and go, where was spring? Saturday is spring in Mississippi. It's a beautiful day. Sunday, obviously, we flip the script by late in the day. More on that coming up here in 60 seconds as Mississippi Live weather continues here from our Mississippi Live Game of the Week in Boonville, coming up right after this.
When you've been injured, don't settle for a lawyer who doesn't even know where you live. Call Langston and Lott. Local lawyers, personal service, real results.
When C.K. Little opened his doors in downtown Corinth nearly 80 years ago, his plan was simple: deliver excellent service and exceed expectations. That's why we say a little gift goes a long way.
Game day brings its ups and downs. Celebration and disappointment. Anxiety and relief. Friends and enemies. You can always argue over who should have won, but everyone can agree on great food. Appetizers, entrees, drinks, party platters, or even the taste of sweet victory. There's something for every season at Eat With Us restaurants.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lovehon.
Well, the Boonville softball girls behind me here. Hey, y'all wave hi. So anyway, of course, one of the two teams on our game of the week today. Y'all excited? Yeah. Okay, y'all gonna win? Yeah. Okay, there's some confidence there. Again, they'll be taking on East Union here, our game of the week. Of course, we'll have that forecast coming up for you here in a minute. But it's just an absolutely spectacular day for any kind of ball here. But nice and excited to be able to feature softball for a change. I think first time we've had a game of the week in this part of the state that's been softball in history. So we're excited to be able to make a little bit of history here on Mississippi Live Weather. Gabe, I'd like to hit that drone shot here again. Beautiful field today in the Boonville area is I'm kind of looking out over top of that. We'll pan our, of course, Mississippi Live drone there back a little bit. You kind of see where that green building off the right there, kind of in the distance. That's the one where we're standing in front of right here. And everybody just thinking the day is pretty spectacular. I'm overdressed with my jacket for the moment, but if you're planning on heading out, you will probably wish you had one as we head later on into this evening. Again, bring it back here to ground level. And we are dry, we are clear at this moment, but things will change, obviously, by the latter part of the weekend. Our severe weather threats, confidence definitely on the increase for potential for maybe a brief tornado. I'd say damaging winds more likely of an impact that we're going to contend with this storm system because, frankly, just the what we call pressure gradient winds from this are going to be powerful enough, but also the potential to get some enhancements there along the leading edge of this. That could be some wind gusts. I think it's very reasonable to say 70 miles per hour, not an impossibility. Probably not going to see hail. Probably not going to see a ton of heavy rainfall outside the main line. It's really concentrated right where that line is in particular there. As we look at temperatures at this time, we're coming in 70 degrees. So, yes, I am overdressed. Yeah, I ran up to visit, some of our friends at Tennessee Valley Weather earlier today. And so my daughter picked out my jacket and there's my shirt. So she picked out a tie-dye shirt for me to wear. So I just figured we'd cover it up with the jacket. So a little warm at the moment, but you're going to want those layers if you're coming out here later this evening because it will get fairly cool. That little bit of a southerly wind factor. 65 for first pitch at 6:40 there. We're 57 by the fourth inning and low 50s by the end. So, yeah, layers, you'll want those if you're sitting in the sands this evening. And maybe a little blanket couldn't hurt too much. Mama Justice Doppler, we are clear. We are dry all across North Mississippi this evening, and we'll stay that way through your Saturday. By Sunday, obviously, that's when things do start to change. We're 72 degrees in Amory. We're 69 up here in the Boonville area, 70 at this instant up in Corinth, and 71 degrees in Greenwood, as well as Macon, 72 in West Point and the Starkville area. So, again, mid-50s, somewhere around that as we head toward around 9 p.m. tonight under what should be mostly clear skies. We're going to keep it, again, mostly clear overnight with that weak front moving in. We do have just the littlest bit of cloud cover that could try to creep on in here from down south, but I don't expect that's going to be a deal by early tomorrow, with temperatures somewhere in the lower 40s for those lows for most locations here across North Mississippi as we go into the first part of your Saturday. That is warmer than we were today and on our way up. Our futurecast keeps it dry again through noontime with just those southerly winds kind of continuing to dominate there. We'll have temperatures heading into the mid 70s, I think, for highs. A beautiful spring-like day. Do not miss it, despite the fact that we are tracking some rain chances for Sunday. Your Saturday, none of those, and we're in excellent shape. So high temperatures, somewhere around 78 we show for Houston, 74 here in Booneville, 79 degrees in Vernon, Alabama, and Solent, 78 down in the Louisville area, and 75 degrees for Greenville and Belzona, 73 in Clarksdale. So a few clouds arriving late tomorrow. Again, a sign that things are starting to change, mainly high to mid-level clouds, and a few sprinkles for early Sunday morning. Pre-dawn Sunday, we're looking down there closer to Kosciuszko. This is a sign of some of that moisture starting to come up from the south there. We anticipate, again, will probably be mostly dry there, as you can still see through, say, noontime and into the afternoon. As we change this over to our strike model, still 3, 4 o'clock, nothing. So another pretty nice day until very late in the day on your Sunday. We stop it at 6 p.m. You can see a few of those showers getting closer. More on the timing and everything with this in a minute. It will be breezy on Sunday. Highs on Sunday, upper 70s, maybe low 80s. A beautiful day. Don't miss this weekend, despite the fact I'm saying severe weather's possible. Both Saturday and Sunday. If you're going out, make some time, enjoy this weather, because it's going to get a lot colder as we look toward next week behind this storm system. Our severe risk, a level 3 out of 5, involves all locations. There is damaging wind risk. There is a tornado risk with this. There is not a hail risk. There's not really a flash flooding risk. It's kind of one and done as this line comes through, what we call a high shear low cape scenario. So let's walk through that for you. So as we're looking here at 6, 7 o'clock, storms very near that front. There will be some rotating thunderstorms, that one there east of Cleveland, the other one kind of west of Oxford, depicting some of that rotation at 7, 8, 9 o'clock on your Sunday. Now, you look at this, I look at this. Initially, we say it just looks like some regular storms. And that's where this gets interesting, because researchers have concentrated, especially here in North Mississippi, on some of these high shear, low cape scenarios just in the last few years. So a lot of what we know, we're just now learning about this. Most of the time, models do not make these look terribly impressive. And so I think there's isolated wind enhancements where you have rotation that maybe just elevates what would have been otherwise straight line winds up to 70, 75 miles per hour. Brief tornadoes possible. And if everything goes the wrong way, a brief strong tornado is not impossible. But I think mostly it's going to be wind 50, 60 miles per hour. That's going to cause some issues after the ice storm that we had. And then a few spots where maybe briefly we get an enhancement of rotation, and that then tries to produce some rotating thunderstorms, and then maybe a brief tornado. Notice it will continue to be windy west-northwest on those winds as we head toward 10 p.m. By 11 p.m., most of that's out of here. And as we head towards, say, 1 to 2 o'clock in the morning, this is all non-severe stuff behind this. Now, I could just say, okay, we're done, blah, 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 blah. The interesting thing is there's enough cold air with this that if you look closely, we have some blue on the map there by early Monday morning. So is it possible that you or I see some flakes Monday morning? The temperature's below freezing. Yeah, I do think it's possible. Are we making snowballs? No. Snowmen or women? No. Are we going to school? Absolutely. And is that wind chill right there? That's going to be a factor down there in the teens. Really, really blisteringly cold to begin the first part of Monday morning. Not impossible to have a flake beyond that, but probably mostly dry. So again, a couple of flakes, not an impossibility. Look at that wind chill, though, through noontime, mid-20s, and into the afternoon. Best case scenario, maybe feeling like around 30 degrees. It is much, much colder by Monday. Do not miss this weekend. This evening, tomorrow, most of Sunday, it's excellent. But by Sunday evening, we are concentrating on severe weather threats. So obviously, certain preparations, we need to do that as well. So from 43 in the morning on Saturday, we're 75 by afternoon. As you see that hour-by-hour forecast again, we're 68 at noon. And it is just in so many ways an absolutely stellar day on the way for your Saturday. Sunday, most of the day is really pretty nice, but obviously storm chances ratcheting up in the afternoon and evening. A line, again, one and done. That line arrives, you're hit by the worst. That line moves,
you're done. So it's not one of those days where it's like, okay, is there more? Is there a second round? There isn't. It'll be windy behind it. Still some sporadic wind damage possible after the line, but any tornado throw will be right on the front edge there, really kind of concentrated in the evening. And so when you see that 40% on there, the thing to note about that is this, that might not imply a huge chance, but the thing is it's because that is coverage of precipitation. You and I and everybody else are all going to experience basically the same chance for some of those rotating thunderstorms. And then it's much, much cooler behind this. Only 40s for highs next week. We're back in the mid-20s for lows by early Tuesday morning. And that does mean we're probably cold enough by then that we are going to contend with frost and a hard freeze. Gabe, and it's one of those crazy things, but looking toward next week, it's not unreasonable that if you've planted a garden, we could have some issues with it and you're covering up the plants. But again, we are at our Mississippi Live Game of the Week. It's East Union softball taking on the home team here, the Blue Devils from Boonville, and we will have the latest on this matchup on softball. That's right, on the diamond here for our Mississippi Live Game of the Week, coming up with our Ethan Foster at 6 p.m. here. And we look forward to seeing you again at 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. tonight as we continue to update things. We will look at the helicity tracks. Another way to say that, the rotation tracks that these thunderstorms are going to produce and where we're most likely to see one of these rotating thunderstorms try to produce a tornado, or maybe just as importantly, where we're most likely to see them have an enhancement where they try to kick out some of those 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. That's coming up with a complete forecast on Mississippi Live Weather at 6 p.m. We hope to see you then here live from Boonville. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon.
I'm your retirement fear, but don't be scared. You're still in pre-retirement.
Does that mean I have more time to plan?
Precisely. This is pretirement.org.
This isn't scary. I'm doing it.
Even though Gabe grew up in Alabama, Mississippi has now become his home and his family. And one thing about Gabe is he keeps his family safe.